last week. And I know that everybody's processing this election and the results in a different way. And we really need to talk about it, but also talk about it from a metaphysical and a spiritual perspective. So good morning out there at YouTube. Thank you for joining us. For those that are here, thank you for joining us today. I'm Reverend Sharon Thompson. I'm here with the Revs. And welcome to Living Truth 365. Yeah, and the Revs. Come on now. Y'all don't know what we're talking about. We got an inside thing going on. And if you really want to know what's going on, you need to be here at Living Truth 365. Right. So I really want to start the conversation off, and this is a conversation. It's really a talk because, again, I think that I'm reading the comments, I'm watching the news, listening to the media, and I'm hearing all kinds of things going on in terms of how people are feeling about the election. You're hearing that people want to leave the country now. You know, oh, they're predicting bad things, war and the economy and this and that. And you may be in your human feelings about what's going on and what's happening and the results of the election. And even how you feel about 37. I'm not going to say that name right now. But number 30, come on, 37, Yes, 47. I'm not trying to speak his name. So
45.
Yeah, so we know you've got feelings about that, and about him personally. But I want us to move the conversation beyond our humanness, because I think it's all connected. How we feel about what happened and how we're going to move forward into the future. I think it's a result of collective consciousness that we need to get on the same page, because I'm just going to say it straight up. That's why I think the results were what the results were. So I want us to talk about it. Reverend D, what you got to say? Come on, ladies.
God says.
Yes.
Says, not yet.
Come on, not yet. Come on.
The collective consciousness of the people are not ready.
Yes, ma'am.
I go back to Judges, the book of Judges.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Doctor. We gotta go back and remember our history.
That's right.
And when God sees the people still going through their eyes and running to this one and that one because of their individual feelings,
yes, ma'am,
and pushing him out, leaving him out, leaving him out. And until more of us can stay in the one consciousness, we ain't ready yet. But he's ready whenever we're ready.
Come on, Reverend D, what you got to tell us?
Dr. Barber just said it. When we're in that one consciousness.
Yes, ma'am.
The election is a result of the consciousness of the people.
Yes, ma'am.
And what we don't realize, even some of those of us who decided to vote in another way, our conversation, our mouth was speaking about that particular person.
Yes, ma'am.
The conversation is always around what he said, what he did, what he's going to do, how it's going to be. I've looked at Facebook. Some people I truly love, but their comments are always, well, he said this and blah, 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 blah. And trying to make people aware, and I understand what they're trying to do, but what they don't realize they're doing, they're continually putting that mouth on something they don't want.
Exactly.
And whether you gave positive comments about that particular person or whether you gave negative comments about that particular person, you were still giving comments and giving energy to it.
Exactly.
And this is a world of energy.
Exactly. And even the thoughts that we have within ourselves about how we feel about that man and what we think about him and what he said and what he did, that's putting that right back, that's out into the atmosphere.
Two things create thoughts and feelings.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thoughts and feelings.
Gotta bless him.
Thoughts and feelings, and that's the only way we're going to get over this. Two things we got to do. Bless everything and everybody.
Yes.
And call forth divine love
Yes,
in
ma'am.
every situation.
Yes, ma'am.
For
Yes.
peace, for harmony, for prosperity, for well-being, for this country and everybody in it.
Yes.
But love has got to overcome all of the other. That's the only way. We've got to go up in consciousness. We got to rise to a higher level. That's the only way. We've got to raise our vibration. We've got to stop talking about what's going on. If we focus on love,
Yes.
love is perfecting everything.
Love trumps all.
There it
Love
is.
trumps all.
All.
Yes.
And stay focused on that. Don't get caught up in the appearance. See, Reverend Sharon, you said you watch the TV. I stopped watching the news. I don't watch it. I don't listen to it. I don't want to hear it. Everybody's writing about it. Everybody's talking about it. So if you go, especially to any of the major stations, that's all you're going to hear.
Right.
You got to be self-disciplined and control what goes in and what you are in surrounded by, conversations you participate in, conversations you choose not to be a part of. It all boils down to you. And see, we cannot say we don't have any power. That's not the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
We are so powerful that we don't know how.
Me and my house. Me and
Come on,
my
Dr.
house.
Cunningham.
My mindset. I can't even say for my children. They each have their own. When it's asked, what did you do? It has nothing to do with what they did. It has to do with what you did. Don't allow yourself to be sidetracked. That's why I talked about you yesterday at the class. I mean, I went into more yesterday. And so I spoke it up, and then I'm here. We are so distracted by the masses that we think are in control. We're giving them control.
Yes. Yes.
Keep your mind. What's that old song? Keep your mind stayed on Jesus. We have to be of one accord, no matter what the fringes are saying. Right? We know.
Don't judge by appearance.
That's right.
Amen.
Come on.
Judge right, judge.
Well, let me put my 2 cents in.
Yeah.
You got a quarter. We'll take that quarter. Come on, we're going to give you a quarter.
I have been through such a range of emotions in the past, whatever many days it's been. The day before the election, I started to do a Facebook post and just say, tomorrow we're going to wake up and we're all going to be so stunned because we're getting ready to be led by a black woman. Spirit said, is this thing on? I don't feel like it's on. Is this thing on? Okay. Spirit said, don't do that post. Hold off, just hold off and see what happens. And so I woke up the day after the election and I felt like I am completely devastated. I cannot believe we're going to go through this again. We all know who this man is because he has told us, he has showed us. He has never tried to hide. He's not that smart. So, we all know who he is. But, I'm not the type of person that gets into oh my God, what we going to do? That's not me. But I was completely devastated. The second day after the election, it moved into disappointment. It was like we had a shot. We had an opportunity. The energy that a black woman would have brought to leading this country would have been like nothing we have ever seen before. I was sure of it. I knew it. But we weren't ready. Like Reverend Barb said, we were not ready. And so the third day after the election, my disappointment turned to defiance. Because I have always believed, I continue to believe, I will always believe that black women are God's most resilient creatures. We have been through everything. We have faced everything. We will face anything, and we will get through anything. And so after I went through those 3 stages, I was like, okay, it's going to be okay. Rachel Maddow, I started watching her, and she was like, we just gotta. I was like, no, Rachel, I'm not at the rah-rah stage yet. Give me a day to sink into my feelings because I need at least a day. I'm not at rah-rah yet. But by the 3rd day, I was feeling defiant. It was like, okay, we know what we're up against. We already know this. There are no secrets here. We already know. So we just move forward, one step at a time, as best we can. But that's it. That's the best that we can do. But we are defiant. We will hold on because while we have never been here before in this exact place, at this exact moment, in this exact situation, we have faced situations far worse. So all that being said, we'll get through it. But it I do have moments when I just feel like it boggles the mind. I just have those moments. Those are my human moments. And one more thing I'll say is, you all know that I am a devoted, longtime student of A Course in Miracles.
That's it.
And the Course in Miracles tell you nothing real can be threatened.
There you go.
Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace
of God.
That's it.
That should be your post.
That's it.
Post that on Facebook.
Yeah.
Post that on Facebook.
But you're talking about nothing real exists from the Course in Miracles, which that quote is like gold to me. But it's the perception that people are having about what took place and what they believe to be reality about this whole issue that we are exacerbating, and we're continuing to now argue and fight among ourselves about. You don't get the point. You don't see him. But that's the thing that got me at some point. I had to say, but none of us, or very few of us, are seeing this from a truly spiritual perspective. He is a spiritual being.
Yes, he is.
He's a human being.
Yeah.
But why can we not look at that spiritual man that he is and elevate that? Because all we're elevating is the humanness. And with that perspective, that all we're seeing is he's this, he's that, he's that. We're not elevating the spiritual being, which we all are. Let's take that out of the equation and let's elevate the spirit only. Because if this is a spiritual universe, we're spiritual beings, why not focus on that? And so, again, no, we're not ready because we can't automatically go to that. We go to the human first. And that is our downfall as human beings. Ethan.
We say namaskar and namaste all the
Hey,
time.
come on, Reverend D.
We say namaskar and namaste all the time.
Exactly.
Call forth the
That's what I'm
Christ
saying. Yes.
in every
That's what I'm
person
saying. That's what I'm saying.
governing
Yes,
this
ma'am.
country, this state, and our municipalities. Call forth the Christ. Call forth the Christ in everyone.
Yes.
Do not get caught up again in the appearances. Every time you hear, even when you hear it, even if it's your intention to minimize what you hear, when you hear it, say God is in charge.
Exactly.
Divine love is perfecting this situation.
Right, exactly.
Call forth perfection.
Exactly. And the greatest thing that we always know is with every experience that we have, what is the lesson that we have to learn? It's like immediately go to that. What is a lesson for us? But I don't know how many people are saying, what's the lesson in this? What's the lesson in that? It's like, oh my God, it's so horrible. But what's the lesson for us?
Right. As one of my minister friends says, stop feeding the beast.
Yes. Yes.
My favorite thing.
Yes.
Stop feeding the beast.
Exactly.
We are allowing ourselves to be sidetracked. That every distraction we see on TV or hear in our groups, they're a distraction, but they are pulling us away from the one. So we are allowing ourselves to be sidetracked to the point we start running and don't know where the heck we are running to.
I had a resolve within myself probably 2 weeks before Election Day because I did my due diligence. I voted, got other people to vote, donated. I did my due diligence. But being that I've taken so many classes, I went to the mirror and said, Shirley, you have not taken all of these classes and learned all of this stuff.
Come on.
Without applying it to your everyday life. So I had a resolve within myself, and I'm really solid on that resolve. No matter what happens, no matter who sits in what seat, my life will not be diminished in any form.
Exactly.
In any form. Because I mean, I've sat in these classes. I've driven across town. I paid good money and in and out of the country. I mean, I made the investment and continue to make the investment. And we have to, I can't and I will not give that power to someone or something.
What you said, power.
I just will not. Now, I did have to go have some talks with myself, but I went to the mirror and will continue to go to the mirror as needed. But just knowing that, I will not give that to anyone.
Right.
You know, we all make a difference in this here world. And we all make a difference, and it's up to us to decide daily, sometimes hourly. What difference am I going to make? How am I speaking? How am I acting? Because I've learned to go to silence. I said, look, I'm not having that conversation. And sometimes I have to put myself in time out on the other side of the door to not have that conversation, because sometimes I'm getting a stirring, a feeling with the energy of what is around. But my life will not be diminished. And our lives will not be diminished in any way, regardless of who sits where.
Shirley, I said something similar. I said tomorrow morning, I did not watch any election returns. I said, when I wake up tomorrow morning, I will still have to do what I need to do tomorrow morning, regardless of who won that election. I still had to do the same thing. I had to handle the same business, regardless of how the election results came out. But I also know, like I said, we, and Dr. Barbara is saying, we have got to stay one with the one. Ricky Byers' song, All I Need Is My Connection with God. Mary said, it's the God in me.
Yes.
Y'all preaching this morning.
It's the God in me.
Yes.
That's what makes the difference.
Yes.
That's sign behind it. Always believe that something wonderful is about to happen. You got truth all of this. Yes.
Something wonderful.
Terry, do you have something to say? I see you back there.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Are you looking at us? Sure enough.
He said there's a little bit of a lag. What you got for us back there?
Look at this. That's interesting.
Terry? Okay, we're going to wait for him to come back. We're going to continue without him. Whenever he's ready, he'll let us know. What you got to say, Jada?
I, as a proud member of the 92%, which I'm assuming all you all are, I am the 92%. Talking about black women, learn lessons in real time. Because I'm seeing a collective response of being, we out. No, we out in the sense of we're saying namaste to ourselves. They're saying, we are saying, we're going to take this energy and focus on ourselves. Being kind to ourselves. Working on ourselves. Not trying to save everybody else. I'm watching in real time people understanding that what you resist will persist.
Amen. Amen.
All of these other people, these lighter complexion people, are trying to organize marches and do. We going. Y'all got that. Because what you resist will persist. There is a feeling of surrender.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Surrender and not be in the enabling of the addict. No more enabling. This is tough love time. Lessons must be learned. We need to allow people to learn their lessons. This is what you wanted.
What you gonna get? Handle it.
We don't have to save you.
No.
You got to save yourself. Time for you to learn these lessons. As the Reverend said here, black women, we've done our job. Time for, collectively, it's time for us to allow people to learn their lessons. I feel an enormous sense of peace.
And our lesson
Now-
is to learn to surrender.
Now, personally,
Microphone, baby.
And our lesson is to learn to surrender.
right. And now, personally, I was going around talking about my cousin about to be president. I'm not letting it go. We from the same city, born at the same hospital. I went to high school with her sister. Her locker was right next to me. My cousin about to be president. I watched as someone stepped into their power. I watched a lesson. I watched someone step into their destiny. I watched someone do everything right. And I'm at peace with it. Because we got to see what black excellence looks like. The world got to see it.
But I'm going to stop you, Jada, because I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Because I don't think it's a matter of black and white. And I think that's part of the problem. That it's black here. Whenever there's this idea of separation and division, I think that brings in problems automatically. And again, that takes us to that human side of ego. And again, it takes us out of this mind of oneness. And again, it takes us out of that idea of spirituality. So I think as long as we think black and white, young and old, men and women, that's part of the problem. So again, why can't we see this idea that we're all one? It is what it is. It's not an easy concept, and I'm not going to say it is because there's times where I had to, do that. But it was like, what's true here, Sharon? What's true here? And as long as you continue to see him as a man, as a white man, as a this, as a that, you're creating more of the issue. Where is your truth in this, Sharon? It's a bitter pill to swallow, but that's what's required. It's what's required. And again, we can do this, and we're not in alignment with what is true. We're not getting down that path. That's where we are, because we can't get to that road because it's tough for us to get there.
But we don't live under the reality of what is true, Sharon. We live under the illusion
Yes.
that there is a
Yes,
difference
ma'am.
between black
Yes,
and white,
ma'am.
and
Yes.
that's why we keep bringing it to
Yes,
the forefront.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's why.
I get it, but I will tell you, Reverend D, listen, I can say this from a pure place. I have worked with Donald Trump one-on-one in New York. So I have seen what that human being looks like behind closed doors and not in front of the cameras. So I can personally speak to that. As a human being, he is not a great human being. And knowing that, I certainly did not want him to become president for another term.
Right.
But I had to immediately go, that's not true, Sharon, and get out of that. So if I can't pull myself from that, I can't pull myself from anything else that happens in my life. And then when I'm going something on a personal level, then I understand why I'm suffering. So again, if we have to put these things in order. Why am I suffering in my life? Because I can't go straight to truth. And that's the bottom line. I get it. Yes, we're having this human experience, but you gotta find a way to get the truth. If you want, you gotta do it again and again. Y'all know me. I will lay out what's true. Get to that truth, Sharon. You don't like it, it doesn't feel good, but get to the truth. That's it. Because otherwise, I'm going to suffer and then it's going to be poor me, whatever, when stuff happens in my life. But you got to go to the truth, Reverend D.
One of the things we have to see, continuing with what Reverend Sharon is saying, and it is, we do have to get the truth. We've got to get outside of our humanness and stay on principle and stay on truth. That's the only way we're going to rise, and that's the only way anything is really going to change. See, we're having this conversation, but if we have this conversation and people walk away from this conversation with the same plan, doing the same thing they did before they heard this conversation,
Yes, ma'am.
that's where the problem
Yes,
is.
ma'am.
There has got to be a change. Each of us has got to, during the course of this, hear something that we need to take in and use ourselves. Something has to light within us, and we have to make the change. It's not him.
Right.
It's us.
That's
Let me tell
reflecting
you,
it back.
we
Yes,
are
ma'am.
co-creators with God. We create our own world.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
why Scripture said, "Be in the world, but not
Yes,
of the
ma'am.
world."
Yes,
We need to
ma'am.
be here, but we don't need to be of it. We need to create our world, and if we create our world based on principle, we'll rise above what all this
Come on,
foolishness
Reverend
is down here. So it's on us. That's why I say it takes self-discipline.
Yes.
You got to work with yourself.
There you go.
You got to work with yourself. This group get together, that group get. No, you work with yourself. You work with the man and the woman in the mirror. And you stand on principle, not only in this issue, in every issue in your life.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, like you said, they're talking about the economy. Don't get concerned about the economy. Don't get concerned about a job. I work for God. I will always be gainfully employed. I will always have an income to maintain and sustain me and my family.
Yes.
Now, where it is, you may not know. But you got to stand on that principle. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Yes.
Our business is not how, our business is what. God's business is how. Stay in your lane.
Yes. Yes.
I behold the Christ in myself.
Okay.
Morning.
Good morning.
Let me see. So my election process wasn't practicing much truth. On the days leading up to the election, I was convinced. Well, first of all, I felt like the election was so much bigger than the individual candidates. But I was convinced that Kamala Harris was the one that was put in the position to move this country forward. I was convinced of that. So Tuesday night, I turned the TV off at about 7:30 because I knew I wasn't going to be able to take looking at these numbers. I was just going to drive myself crazy. So turn the TV off. So Wednesday morning, I got an early text message from a friend of mine that said all she said was unbelievable, and I just I was devastated because I knew what that meant. So I got out of bed. I usually work out every morning, so I said I really need to go to the gym this morning so I could throw something around, and I just like you. I said, what just happened? So I didn't watch TV Wednesday, Thursday, or regular TV. Netflix or something like that because I didn't want to hear it. And it was an eerie hush that kind of was out in the universe on Wednesday. And I was like, my phone wasn't ringing, nobody texting. It was just quiet. And I said, well, that's good 'cause I don't feel like talking to nobody either. But when I logged in for work, we usually have briefings every afternoon. And it was so, I mean, everyone had their cameras on and the looks on people's faces was just like, we just got a gut punch. So my manager, who he's very aware. So he, without speaking specifically about the election results, he offered some encouraging words about, don't let anyone take your power away and this, that, and the other thing. So many of us still weren't really ready to receive that, including myself. I talked to, when I finally, well, going back to Tuesday, or Monday night, I spoke to a couple people. I said, did you vote? Did you vote? I was kind of stalking people, like Reverend Drea said she was, making sure people were voting. And a couple people told me they weren't voting. So I just kind of put them somewhere. I'm like, how do you not vote? So to me, that was like making a statement, and I couldn't wrap my mind around why uh, people died for us to have this right. So how in the world do you not vote? I just couldn't make that make sense. So I felt like I just had to put those people somewhere else, and it has changed the way I see them. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is what it is. But going back to the results, I felt like um, that country this country could put, like you all said, we know he's told us who he is, what he's about, and it was just so disappointing that people in this country would put somebody like that in that office again. Um, and I still have my moments with that. Uh, but then I did get to the place where it's really not about him. He is a reflection of what is going on in this country, what people in this country think, what they feel, and I said we got some work to do, because we put him, not we, but this country put him there. So what does that say about this country, the people in this country? And I'm still asking that question. I'm still having trouble with that. What do you all think that says about that we could elect someone who just put all the economic policies, all of that, put all that aside, and let's just think about the character of the person. He represented everything. Just no, it wasn't about love. It wasn't about peace. It wasn't about hope, freedom, inclusion, equity. None of that. So how do we get to that? To put somebody that would represent that in office.
This country is money hungry to me, and money is what runs this country.
I want to see if he's got, because he's been sitting there with something to say. He said it's a 30-second lag. So
We can't talk. Is his mic not on?
He's on mute. He's on mute. He on mute. Yeah. You on mute.
unmute yourself. We see you muted.
No, now he's unmuted, but it's still not coming
It's
through.
muted on the screen.
No, it is. It's not. He needs to unmute.
Right, see, he's muted there on
He's
the screen.
not. He's not. He's not. He's not.
He's saying he's not muted.
He's not muted.
Right.
We see muted.
He's not muted.
Yeah, it's muted.
No, that's our
Oh,
thing
okay.
is muted, not
We're
him.
muted.
Well, I don't know why we don't hear him then.
Let me see if
We're gonna put you on hold in a second.
Again.
he's,
Okay, he said
understood.
okay.
Okay.
All right, so was you getting ready to say something, Dr. Cunningham?
Trina
had a question.
Reverend Dolores was getting ready to say something, because I
I
know you
was
said
trying
something.
to, well, not trying to. My experience as someone who feels like they're about love, about oneness, this world, and especially in the United States, is money driven. It's all about financial gain. People will stop being friends with you because you don't have enough money. People will move away from you because you don't have enough money. People choose their friends because of money. People choose their partners because of money. So, if the United States mindset and consciousness is all about what I can get, people are going to choose the person who's going to get it to them. Regardless of the ethics, the morals, the character. Most people don't think about those things. Most people don't even know what they value. But to a certain extent, what they do value is money. Love can go somewhere. There's a song. What does love have to do with it? It's a popular song, international for that reason. So, if you talk about what I can do for you financially, and I'm telling you I will rob, steal, and do whatever, I'm going to pick the person who's going to ride hard for me to get my money. And that's what these people did. He is, to me, I don't see him, I see him as a person of truth. He walks his truth. He doesn't hide who he is. He stands 10 toes down on what he believes. Whether you call him smart or not, he's intelligent enough. He's divinely intelligent because he's walking in his truth. And the thing that I stand on is things are going to happen, as I was telling Shirley earlier. You just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And as Reverend Dolores said, it doesn't change anything because you still have to do what you have to do. And what we all are saying is you personally have to do your work. What part of you created this? Because as you move, are you moving in love? Are you moving authentically? Are you showing grace? Are you being compassionate? And most people don't do that. Most people won't even give $1 to the person standing on the corner because they think it's a scam. Just give the person the money because it's going to come back to you. It's not yours anyway. But the reason why he's in office is because there's a lot of people not walking in truth, and there's a lot of people who don't understand that if you want things to change, you have to change. And if you don't change how you see this world and stop being selfish, stop being inconsiderate, stop being egotistical, then you will not. Then all of this is going to continue to happen. It wasn't going to change because we haven't changed. And it's a gut check because it's really you looking at the person in the mirror. This what you experience has to be something that's within you. How you betraying yourself, because we feel betrayed by this country, but technically you betray yourself by what you do in your daily life. Do you sell your soul for a paycheck? Most people do. Most people aren't doing what they want to do because they have to, as they say, I have to make this paycheck. Technically, you don't have to make this paycheck. You can make some rearrangements in your life, but because you want these certain things, you're willing to sell your soul. And he does what he does, and everybody else does what they do in order for us to have this economy and have this lifestyle. But when it boils down to it, it's right back at us. The creature comforts is the part, to me, that most people sell their souls for, no one, and we don't even have community. There's no community. It's only when the election or something, then you want to commune together. But on a daily basis, are you communing with people? Are you making sure that other people are loved or feeling seen? That's what this really is all boiling down to. Most people do not feel seen. And they're going to fight for what they want, even if it's wrong, because they just want to feel seen. And he lies to them in order to make them feel seen. But they feel seen, so they're going to agree with this. Because people will accept less just to feel like their existence matters.
So Ife, I'm hearing a lot about people and them my question is,
Back to
what about us? So the question is, because we're sitting in
You
this
have to
room-
love
Right,
yourself.
but no, but we're sitting in this room having this conversation, and hopefully whoever is watching on YouTube will walk away with something that will help them at the end of the day. But the question is, on a personal level, how are we each responsible for what we're doing? And even if we didn't do it previously, what are we going to commit to doing now going forward to, again, be reflective of who we say we should be as spiritual beings, living in this world, not happy with whatever is going on. How are we as an individual? What's our job from this point on? Like, we're not experiencing this to not make a difference going forward. So what are we committing to do? Because if we continue to do what we've been doing, we're going to continue to get the same results. So on an individual level, what are we each committing to doing that's going to be different?
For
I think that's the key.
For me, it's morning rituals that remind me of my truth, even despite what experiences I'm having and how challenging it may seem. I remind myself that I am loved. I remind myself that I'm one with God. I remind myself that not to believe my lying eyes. Guide me today. Lead me to make sure that I do what is necessary.
But I want to take that even further, because you said people aren't reaching out to other people. They're not telling other people this. They're not telling other people that. What are you now going to do? Because you just said to us what they're not doing. What are you going to do when it relates to other people, loving on other people, showing other people compassion, elevating other people?
For me, because I self-isolate when I'm in that negative or thinking or in that space. But for me, because I do that work, even in the morning, some people have said it today, my post, I put out in the atmosphere, whatever platform I'm on, that if you come across Miss Paper Plate Vegan or Ife Luwa Court, you're going to get something positive. It's going to be an inspiration or something to help you to think deeply about you as a person and how you're moving. But for me, I'm always going to, at the bottom line, express love. Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to share love, I'm going to ask love, and then I'm going to also add some humor in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. But that's how I do. I start the day, morning posts. After I've done my work, I go find something pretty or something inspirational, and I put it out there. So that's what I do. And then when I cross people's paths, you look beautiful today. I love the colors you got on. Mm-hmm. To let you know you feel seen. Okay, I love you. It's been a while since I've seen you. I'm so great to see you, Reverend Dolores. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Somebody's talking to me and they tell me they want to do something or take a test. Hey, I know you got it because you're smart enough, and I know divine intelligence is going to guide you. I move in this. It's probably because I need it, but I also know that other people need it too. Mm-hmm. If I need it, I know somebody else needs it. So I'm going to be a voice of encouragement, whether it's within me, talking to myself in the mirror, like Shirley said, or if it's me posting something on social media, or if it's me communicating with someone else. I always try to be that silver lining to remind them, despite their stinking thinking, that there's something else positive on the other side. That's what I do.
I think Reverend Drea has some thoughts from people that are watching us on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. I want to give Reverend Terry one more chance to see if he can say something. Reverend Terry, can you speak? No. Okay. All right. So I'm going to read what. Yeah, I'm about to read that, but I wanted to see if he could have said it first. But since not, let me read what he said.
We did. Uh-oh. He was talking the whole morning. Yeah.
All right. He says, I think we need to be careful about judging other people and their motives. Mm-hmm. We must realize that others see the world differently. Mm-hmm. Emma Curtis Hopkins told us that when we seek God, we are seeking our good. Mm-hmm. For some, our good is in what we see in front of us. Mm-hmm. We have no long time view. We have no long time view of the past to provide perspective or of the future about how we will get to where we desire to be. Many only saw they were better off when 45 was in office. They forget how things were at the end of his term and what 46 had to deal with. Many get down further. Many are looking for government or someone else to fix their problems. We also confuse morality and character with spirituality. The two are not the same. The question to me is what we can do about where we are and how we can use truth to live our lives.
Come on.
He said a mouthful.
He did. He said a mouthful.
He typed a mouthful.
He typed a-
Words finally waiting.
He said a mouthful. So what do we think about what he said?
Well, I just want to get back a little to what Trina asked the question. Like, what does this say about the character of this country that we would do this?
But I think
One of the-
Terry's answers did say a little bit about that we're looking for someone else to do something for us that we refuse to do for ourselves. And that's on more than one level. Go ahead, Jade.
What I have learned in answer to your question is to understand that every human decision that that person has made, we all have the ability to make that. We're all human. If we choose, life is about choices. If we choose to behave a certain way, act a certain way, make this kind of decision, it's a decision that we've made. We are him. We're him. If we're one, he is us. Because there is only one. We have the ability to do abhorrent things if we make that decision. We're just seeing a reflection of what we can do and cannot do. He's a human being, a spiritual being, just like we are. That's the lesson that one of the lessons that I had to remember is that he's no higher, no lower, no different than me. What choices are you going to make about your life and how you move?
I like what you were saying about the mirror because I didn't realize it, but I think within the last, I didn't realize it, but I think within the last 3 weeks before all this, I was in another state physically. You know how we get into other places? I'm not in that place now. And I realized what I was doing is when I got up, you know, you go, the first thing you do is go to the restroom, bathroom. I would look in the mirror in the bathroom. And I said, good morning, God, with a smile. Because, and all of a sudden I start realizing that this physical me was not feeling the way it felt. And I really mean it. Because the physical was corresponding to what I was saying as I walked out of the restroom. To the point wherein I stop at LA Fitness about once a month. And all of a sudden, yeah, I walk with one of those things that help. I'm not with it today, am I?
No, you're not.
Because and I'm saying, the guy said, well, what's going on with you? My banker said, hey, what's going on? I said, I had my those ear things on. My daughter gave me. And I said, I'm listening to the word and the songs. Oh, those beautiful, our songs are beautiful. They keep you buoyed. Is that what? B-O-B-U-O-Y? They keep you up. To the point wherein I'm walking along. Not last year, about 3 months ago, I wasn't about to cross that street without Do you understand?
I also want to jump in here. After the election happened, I remembered that the last time he got in, I was doing moments in meditation, and I wasn't prepared for how people were going to feel. It was a struggle to try to get people to calm down when I had moments of meditation that Thursday afterwards. But this time I was ready, but I had to be ready. So I made sure that I centered myself and I understood what was going on so that I can support the group in trying to process what they were feeling. And it wasn't even a matter of helping them to process. My focus was on reminding them on who they are and reminding them to rest and reminding them to take that time away from everything else so that they can process what was going on. So those are ways that, what is our key for this month? Reach out and be loved. That was the way that I was being loved, by helping people to see, remember who they are, regardless. Even if Kamala Harris had gotten in, we still need to remember who we are, right?
Exactly.
And how we want to move forward. Because not everything that everybody does we're going to like. It didn't matter who gets into office, right? Not everything was going to go the way we felt we wanted it to go. And that goes along with what Reverend Terry just typed. Why are we so concerned about character? Politicians and many religious leaders have shown us that their personal benefit takes priority over their values. The Christian religious community is filled with hypocrisy, especially at the top. They criticize one person for a moral transgression and excuse another for the same thing. I think the question for us is how we will show up and what we can do to live our lives in alignment with what we say we believe, and not judge others for their journey, especially if there is little we can do to change them.
Come on, Reverend Terry.
Right? And everybody's journey is different. But clearly in this moment, our journey is to process and move through and learn and grow through this presidency. However that is. Right?
Wow. 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 So I'm gonna take it back again, because this conversation is gonna end in this room, but where do we take it out into the world so that we as metaphysicians and truth students can take it and help others to process and realign themselves with truth and stay on the path that's going to open things up for us, so that when the next election happens, it'll be more in alignment with a collective consciousness that will reflect what we really want the world to be like. I mean, it's never going to look 1,000% perfect I'm going to say it in my lifetime, but I think we each have a role that we play in making it a little bit brighter and a little bit better for those generations that are going to come, because folks are watching what we do.
Yep.
We're truth people. So what y'all truth people talking about over there? Y'all talking about everything. You're talking about affirmations and visualizations. You know, what you got to say about the election? What you got to say about this? So people are watching what those metaphysicians and truth people are going to be doing, and how you're going to be behaving, and what's coming next. You know, so that's the question I want to lay out. What are we going to do as metaphysicians? How are you going to make a difference? How are you going to shine your light into the world to make a difference, to help? Just Reverend Dolores said in the beginning, so that when it's over, they can take something away to use in their life to make a difference. Because that's your responsibility, because you know better. So your job is now to do better.
I want to, one of our viewers online, Tonette, gave me her thoughts. She says, Namaste, everyone. I do have more of a sense of community, the larger community. Like Reverend Jada, I was inspired and filled with pride to see someone who looks like me on the world stage. I think that this shift to the far right, to white nationalism, is actually bringing us together. Like many that I know, members of my family, of my immediate community, have been tribal, very us versus them oriented. I've been reflecting on that. Like many have expressed already, this erroneous sense of separation, I believe, is in part the crux of the matter. I am looking ahead. I'm looking in the mirror. What can I do now to impact the future? What part can I play to have the future align with love?
Yes.
This election result inspired this new thought, and she had new thought in quotations, in me. That's a huge aha for me. I can't imagine that I'm alone on this. Perhaps that's the silver lining.
Yes, Tonette, you're right on point. I agree with that. Yes. Well said, Tonette. Well said. Well said. So, any closing thoughts? I want y'all to get it all out. Come on, Shirley.
Well, my commitment, regardless of who sits in the office, is that I will be more in prayer and meditation, because we elect people to these offices. They don't just happenstance to get there. So I think, and we have to be supportive by voting. My commitment is more prayer and meditation and doing my part for voting. That's my commitment.
My commitment, my thought is to go higher in consciousness. The scripture says, as I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me. The scripture says, if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me. I have to be the example. I'm not going to ask anything of anyone, but I am going to be a light.
Yes.
When you see me, you're going to see a light, because I want to operate as much in line with principle as I possibly can. I want to be that light. I want to be that example. Honestly, the election didn't upset me. When I heard the results, I just said, oh, well, that's it.
That was me.
It really didn't upset me. I, of course, wanted Kamala to win, but it did not upset me. I just knew the only way for change to come about. See, when we think of change, we think about what changes out here. The only way we can change out here is change here, inside here, inside here. In my head, in my heart, something has to change. In my head, I have to think higher thoughts. When I speak, my mouth has to say positive things. My mouth has to speak truth to life. I can't get caught up in the conversation. I can't go with the name calling and the this and that. I have to speak truth. I don't care what I see. I know God is in charge. I know that higher presence and that power, I'm going to call forth that higher presence and that power. I'm going to call forth divine love in spite of what I see. I'm going to call forth peace and harmony and joy and love and prosperity for everyone. Regardless of what policies they make, I will not change. Scripture, I shall not be moved.
Yes.
I'm not moving.
Yes.
We are spiritual beings. Let us think, speak, and act in the spirit. That means when we see any person, place, or thing, we speak the truth to it in love. We don't even have to open our mouth and let the words come out. We feel the love of God surrounding and in each and every thing, person, place. So we're putting it out there. The energy has to move, and it will move through us because God is all in it. And watch how when you are feeling good and all, and you walk into a room and the room is like, all of a sudden, the perk up. When you think about him, when you see him on the TV, and I'm saying him, I'm talking about everyone. See that. See the energy, the love of God moving through it all.
Come on, Reverend Cheryl.
Well, I have two closing thoughts. The first is that again, going back to my Course in Miracles study group, Sam Wilson used to tell us all the time, you can't recognize a thief unless there's something in you that recognizes that. So when I look at 47, I say to myself, well, what in God's name do I have? What connection do we have? But it's there. And even if it's nothing other than the fact that we are both human beings, or we're both spiritual beings having a human experience, that could be our only connection, but there is a connection there. The other thought I have is piggybacking on something that Reverend Dolores said. I don't know much biblical scripture, but the one scripture that sticks with me is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 17, which says, "Pray unceasingly." And for me, that talks about consciousness, because I believe that consciousness is everything. What you put out is what you're going to get back. So, we talk about what we want to do individually to raise our consciousness. We do that individually. We raise our consciousness individually. It raises us up as a race, the human race. And so those are my two bottom thoughts.
I'd like to hear from the people that haven't, said it yet.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'll be very brief. I personally didn't for this election cycle because neither one of the candidates, personally spoke to me. Like one of the parties, cares about the corporations, and the other party, currently, committing genocide in Gaza right now. So those are the two main reasons why I kind of stayed out of it. I wanted to be like a third-party observer and see what people do. So this election, I think it was a backlash to what's been going on for the last, maybe 10, 20 years from now. Past. People want to see a change, and how they voted. They may regret it, because I wanted Kamala to win. That was why I stayed out of it. Because I don't want to vote for Trump necessarily. So I think moving forward, like the only thing that I can do on my part is to keep working on myself, and try to get to a place where I can make a difference, like in my family and my community. So like the two parties that we have right now, I don't think I wanted to make history, of course, with Kamala, but because of what's going on in Gaza right now, that was why I stayed out of it. I don't think I owe like an allegiance to either one of the party. So I think what we can do right now is just to keep working on yourself, and don't depend on the parties to do anything for you. Depend on you to do what you want to happen in your life. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Trina is probably not happy, that I didn't vote. I'm probably on her naughty list right now. But sometimes, you have to be on people's naughty list, to stand on your ground. As long as you know where you stand, that's what matters.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Ben.
Hey everybody. Good morning. Yeah, good to see you. Good to be seen. So, personally, I've been dealing with my own wellness journey. So, my key has been to stay as positive, uplifted as possible because I need all my energy to do what I need to do. And not only that, I definitely participated in the election cycle because I know I'm of the age. I remember people dying and people still dying for this right to vote. Um, so, whether I'm happy or not about whoever it is, because I actually used to like the man when he had his show in the beginning because he was a good businessman. But then as I got to know more about them, didn't like him so much. So, but still, that shouldn't necessarily, well, it shouldn't affect how I vote or what have you. But we need to take care of ourselves and we need to educate our people. I'm around young people, and I was laughing in agreement with Reverend Drea when she was hazing her coworkers, her younger coworkers, because I'm around a lot of young people, even younger than that, and it's about education. People think it's a 4-year election. It's not a 4-year election. It's a every year election. So we need to know what's going on in our communities and make a difference in getting involved. I mean, I've been involved in the voting process, working at the polls. I've been involved with the census, making sure we got the counts. So I'm involved. But from this point forward, because of the energy that I need, I have to be love and just exist as love and spread as much love as possible. So, love and education are my two things of how I'm moving forward and elevating in this world.
Wonderful. Thank you, KK.
But being love, you're being the greatest thing or person you can be anytime you're being love. You're doing more for the world than anything else. That's the highest any of us can do is be love. Because God is love.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Trina and Linda?
Linda?
Good morning.
Good morning.
What if we saw the good in all of this? You know what I mean? I was much like Shirley. I had already decided what the decision was already done before the results came out. So I was good with either way because it wasn't going to impact me negatively regardless of who won. I trust the process. I believe in the process. I trust God. I know that I know that I know that all is well. And because of the results, I'm working at seeing the good, praying for whomever and all. And I'm tickled because that entire week I'm talking to Trina daily, like, why are you spinning out of control? I mean, what?
What'd you say?
It was
Trina?
Why?
Spinning out of control.
Didn't I get a phone call?
Reverend Sharon, you got a phone call because I was like, I'm not listening to that nonsense. I mean, what are you doing?
Well, we did not speak of the
Right.
election in our house.
Right.
It was because
Right. Okay.
of her
You did.
And I'm thinking, what is. It's already
how I was feeling.
Right.
I could. It was all.
She can feel it.
Y'all won.
She way that morning, and she was like, "What you gonna?" I said, "We don't even have a TV on. I mean, what? What is? It's all good. It's all good. It's not gonna."
And Linda, I just want to point out, it says it right there. See the good. It points it out right there.
It's all good.
Mhm.
You continue to pray for everyone and trust and believe that all is well.
Yes.
And you gotta, if you believe in God, you gotta trust the process. You gotta trust the process. It doesn't matter who. Like someone was saying earlier, regardless of who's in there, they believe and vote based on what is. And it may not always be what you want. So you gotta continue to extend love and be love and be a demonstration and an example. It's all good.
You got anything to say, enlighten Trina?
No.
Reverend Jada, what you got for us?
My final thought is a thought to myself, and it's Reverend Terry triggered it with talking about judgment, and it's Matthew 7:5. Thou hypocrite, pluck the first beam from thine own eye, and then thou wilt see clearly to pluck the straw out of thy brother's eye. One of the first flashes that I saw Wednesday morning were children in cages. But I had to think, how many times have I caged my own child?
Ooh, come on, honey.
So Matthew 7:5 for me. I'm going to pluck the beam out of my own eye before I pass judgment on someone else.
Ooh. To breathe through that one, girl.
Yes.
Come on.
Okay. So, Tonette's last comment was, Amen, Reverend Dolores. My sense of accountability has been heightened, and to paraphrase, wherever I am, God is.
Yes.
It's important that I act like it. So that was Tonette's last. Reverend Terry says, remember that whoever is in office has nothing to do with your well-being. We must stop focusing on circumstances, especially those that upset us, and stand on principle and create a vision for our lives. As Reverend D, people quoting you today, Reverend D, said, God is my source. Know that you have the ability to create the life you desire, regardless of who is in office. We must be willing to do the work. This isn't always easy. Are you ready? Okay. And for me, the one thing I wanted to say, and you triggered it for me, Reverend Cheryl, trying to understand how we can see ourselves in other people, even if we disagree with what they say. It's because everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be happy. No one wants to be fearful. Everybody wants the best for their family, wants to see their family do better and be stable and be grounded in truth. We just are seeing it from different perspectives. But it's still all the same things that everybody wants because we are one. And so in understanding that, then I could be less judgmental about how somebody goes about doing it or what they see or what have you. Because it's all the same thing that we want. We all want the same exact thing. And so if we continue to remember that we are all one, then I can see past it. I can see through it to the spirit, to the truth that everybody else is. And that's how I'm going to continue and walk my path.
Love and fear cannot exist in the same
time.
space.
Yes.
Love and fear can't exist in the same
You
space.
took my closing thing.
So-
That was
Great
mine. You in
minds.
the
Great
same vein.
minds. But it's true. So if you're fearful, you can't be about love.
Yeah.
There's no space for it. So you have to think about that. That goes back to consciousness is everything.
Yes.
You
Yes.
just have to think about it.
Yes.
Move forward.
Well, I want to thank you guys for this conversation, Jay, because I felt like it was much needed. No matter what the outcome was, I felt like we needed to have a conversation about it. But especially because of the way that the outcome from the election was, I felt that it was more needed. And I questioned whether anyone else, any other spiritual center or religious institution was going to have a conversation with their congregation and members. But I felt like at Living Truth, we definitely needed to have that conversation because we are metaphysicians and truth students, and we need to always get back to truth in everything that we do. So I'm just going to piggyback off what Reverend Andrea said, because that's really my thing, that we are one, that we're one in love, we're one in spirit, and we are one in truth. And this is just an example and a way to show us that we need to use that, to be love in spirit, be love in truth, be love in everything that we do. Love is all that there is. So I want to thank you for being courageous enough to speak from your hearts and to speak truth, because this wasn't an easy conversation to have when it comes to the human side of us, but from the spiritual side, it's always easy. So when we remember that truth. So thank you again for joining us. I want to let you, I appreciate that. So Reverend Dre, I'm going to turn it over to you with the announcements.
All righty. Let me see if I'm pulling things up correctly. All righty. Oh, look at that. It's working for some reason. Again, to what Reverend Sharon said, that we have these conversations. We do things differently here at Living Truth because our vision is a world in which everyone lives life abundantly by recognizing their oneness with all there is. And I think today we put that out there. We're recognizing our oneness, and we're hoping that other people are able to do that as well. So this is our moment of giving, right? Giving and receiving our gift of circulation. So I'm going to give you guys a moment. You can use Tidely if that's what you have been used to. You can text 470-243-2191. And you'll get a reply to set up your account. And then at any time you can go ahead and give freely. What everybody knows is Cash App, right? Our Cash App handle is $LT365. LT365. And Ife, if you wouldn't mind getting some envelopes for anybody in here who it's right here near the computer. Right here near the computer.
In the bottom.
Yeah, because, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Those envelopes work well too, right? Right? Those envelopes work well too. So I'll give you guys a moment to go ahead and do your gift of circulation.
Mine's done.
Oh, look at you, all technological and stuff. Remember, just look up at me when we're ready to move forward. All righty. All right, so let's go ahead and do our gift of circulation affirmation together 3 times. There is no lack or limitation. There is only infinite abundance. And through my giving, I tap into the infinite flow, and I am one with it. There is no lack or limitation. There is only infinite abundance. And through my giving, I tap into the infinite flow, and I am one with it. One more time. There is no lack or limitation. There is only infinite abundance. And through my giving, I tap into the infinite flow, and I am one with it. 3 times to seal the deal. I am tapping infinite prosperity and sharing. I am tapping infinite prosperity and sharing. I am tapping infinite prosperity and sharing. And so it is. Oh, thank you for that, guys. I felt that energy. I did. So let's move forward. So, guys, next Sunday, November 24th. We will be having Dr. Rocco come, and he is going to go ahead and do the Journey in Truth service from the Aramaic perspective, right? The world-renowned biblical Aramaic scholar. Who can say that? That we can have that person come in and share wonderful, wonderful drops of knowledge and information for us. So if you can't come on out and join us for that, or at least join us on YouTube Live, okay? So Sunday, December 1st, we are having a special experience for everybody. December 1st at 11 a.m. We're doing a sound bowl healing experience. You don't want to miss it. We did it once before during the summer outdoors. This one is going to be another wonderful experience for everybody, of healing, of cleansing, of coming together in love. So come together. Come with us. Join us on December 1st for that at 11 a.m. Just did our giving. Just another reminder for those of you who need to.
That are online.
Go ahead and give. You can also become a sustaining member through Zelle if you set up LT365 as a payee using our email, livingtruth365@gmail.com, and create a repeating payment. Then you can go ahead and become a sustaining member for Living Truth 365. And we appreciate however you choose to give. Let me get that. All righty. Moments in meditation. Ever since we've been back, we have been going strong. We had another powerful meditation experience because we had the full Beaver super moon this past week. It was a beautiful moon, wasn't it? So we had a great experience with that. So join us 7 p.m. Thursdays via Zoom. If you don't have the link, let us know. We'll get it to you. But it's a powerful group of people that come together for us to really explore the peace, the power, and the presence within. So if you can, join us. All righty. Dr. Rocco's Nora Foundation. If you want to learn more about that, you can go to norafoundation@mail.com to find out more information. He has his Aramaic School of Light every second Saturday of the month from 1 to 3, and there's a $30 fee for the class. And then he has his online classes each Wednesday evening from 7 to 8, and that is with a love offering. So, find out more and join and see what you can learn from that. Truth Trekkers is on hiatus. We'll let you know, excuse me, when we'll be back. Our Friday breakthrough call, those are vital and important as we continue to break barriers all year long. It's at 7 a.m. It's only for 15 minutes, but it's a great way for us to check in and support each other as we are breaking through our barriers. Get your rep and tee. You can still go online and get your t-shirts. Where you want to rep spirituality, rep truth, rep spirit, whatever it is you want to do, you can do that. Get your rep and tee at kafanistudios.etsy.com. And you can also get your Breaking Barrier merch. So you can get that to let everybody know that you are breaking through, to break to whatever it is you want in life and however you want to show up in life. And all proceeds go to Living Truth 365. 100% of the proceeds from those shirts. LivingTruth365.org. We are online. You can go online and find out what we're doing, get more information about the programs and the services that we are having for you guys each and every month. So let us close out with our barrier breaking affirmation. Let's say it together 3 times. There are no barriers in God. Therefore, there can be no barriers in me. There are no barriers in God. Therefore, there can be no barriers in me. Hold on. We had a deep conversation, heavy. So let's breathe and feel the words that we are saying, because this is the truth of the matter. All right, one more time. There are no barriers in God. Therefore, there can be no barriers in me. And so it is.
Wow. Thank you all. Have a great weekend and a wonderful week. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste for real.